23-year-old William Byron, whose career, in case you forgot, it started on a computer, as reminded by Rick Allen a few years ago, if you did not know, just tied Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson in all-time wins at Homestead-Miami Speedway. William Byron gets his second career win today at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. His first in the Exalta 24. First time the Exalta 24 has been in victory lane since 2014 at Michigan with Jeff Gordon. Remember, of course, William Byron got his first career win in Florida last year at Daytona in the summer race with Liberty University on the car. And yeah, he got his second win early this year. Remember, last year he was in a tough points battle at the cutoff race. He didn't need to win, but, you know, the win definitely helped him out, make it to the playoffs last year. And that was his first career win. This time, he makes it much easier on himself this year. He wins at Homestead-Miami in the third race of the season to clinch his spot in the playoffs. Big win and another weird week in NASCAR. We started off the season with Michael McDowell getting his first career win in the Daytona 500. And then we had Christopher Bell get his first career win in the Daytona Road Course last week. And this week we have William Byron get his second career win and locking himself in the playoffs. So it's been a really weird year. If you would have told me that our first three winners would be McDowell, Bell, and Byron, I would have said you were crazy to start off the year. Crazy. I mean, seriously, no one saw this coming. I don't think anyone would have guessed this, but it has happened. And it's not like Byron snuck up there and won last minute. He ran top 5, top 10 all night, and he led over 100 laps out of a 267-lap race. The second half of the race, he was dominant. He pulled out to big leads. He was able to hold off guys like Truex, Larson. So he was really good all night. Whatever Rudy Fugle did to that car, it worked. And that's another thing that I think is going to play a factor into his success this year. Rudy Fugle worked with William Byron in the Truck Series, and they had a lot of success. I think they had 6 or 7 wins. I think they won the Trucks Championship a few years ago, back when William Byron was like 18, 19 years old, really young. And this year, he came back to William Byron, but he skipped over the Xfinity Series. He'd only crew chiefed in the Trucks, and he is a crew chief in the Cup Series. And in their third race together in the Cup Series, they are winners. That's right, winners. William Byron set a lot of personal records tonight. Most laps led in a race. Obviously, his second career win. It was a big night for the 24 team. If this is a preview for the rest of their season, it's going to be a breakout season for William Byron. That was an impressive race for that team. And Hendrick Motorsports as well. At one point, they had all 4 cars in the top 6. Elliott fell off a little bit as the race went on. Bowman, I think, finished top 10. Yeah, he finished top 10, and then Larson finished in the top 5. So Byron and Larson were the best of the Hendrick bunch, running in the top 5 most of the day. But, man, Hendrick looked good today, and overall, Chevy looked really good. Reddick with a runner-up finish. We knew Reddick was going to be good at this race. He had a top 5 last year. He's got 2 Xfinity wins there in championship situations. So we knew Reddick would be good. He ends up getting a runner-up finish. Kurt Busch was in the top 10. So, Chevrolet had a really good day today. And, we've talked about a little bit. We haven't touched on it too much, but over last season sometime during the postseason, the playoffs, ECR, the Richard Childress and Hendrick, they made some type of agreement to start sharing information about the Chevrolet engines to say, here's how we can get better. Here's how we can go win more races. And we kind of saw that it really helped them. Chase Elliott won 3 out of the 5 races at the end of the season. And this season so far, we've seen some pretty dominant performances by Chevy. Last week, Chase Elliott led, 45 laps out of 70 at the Daytona Road Course. And this week, William Byron led over 100 laps out of a 267-lap race at Homestead-Miami. Tyler Reddick finished top 5. Kyle Larson finished top 5 and led some laps. Chase Elliott led a few laps. So Chevrolet, they're trying to make some steps in this last year of the Gen 6 car, and so far they're looking good. But let's talk about this race and the weird start that we had. You're not going to believe me when I tell you this. Chris Buescher won stage 1, and he didn't just win it with a late restart. He led 57 laps today and he dominated like the first like stage and a half, I would say. I think Keselowski led like 40 laps or something up there, but then Buescher took the lead from him, and Buescher just ran away. I think there was a late caution, but Buescher ended up getting the lead back from Keselowski after the restart, and Buescher won stage 1. Roush Fenway looked great in the first stage and the second stage. I mean, Buescher was running top 3. Ryan Newman was in the top 10. As I said, Buescher was leading laps. He won a stage. What year was it? We had a Roush Fenway car leading. All 4 Hendrick cars in the top 5, or top 10, or top 6. It was top 6. And then I think we had a Penske or a Gibbs in there somewhere. I was like, what year is this? Like 2008, 2009? I mean, seriously. It was crazy. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but they kicked everyone's butt there at the beginning, but then Buescher fell off later in the race, which was unfortunate because he was having such a good run, and it was so fun to watch him run up front. Take away the lead from different guys like Keselowski. I think he took it from Truex. I mean, it was fun to watch Chris Buescher up there fighting for the lead. Prosper, Texas's own Chris Buescher. But yeah, then after that, stage 2 came along, and yeah, the ending of stage 2 was pretty exciting. We had a late caution in stage 2. I think Corey LaJoie had a problem, spread some debris on the track, and that caused NASCAR to throw the yellow, and then they had to pick all of it up. There were some caution laps. Everyone basically pitted. And Truex, it was a one-lap shootout for the stage win, and Hamlin took the lead from Truex on the initial restart, and he was going into the corner side by 3 and 4, and he kind of sent it in there. He almost cleared him, but he kind of washed up the track right in front of Truex. Truex had to let up, and Byron snuck in and won stage 2, and that was the first lap Byron led, and after that, it was the William Byron show. Byron would go on to lead, it doesn't tell me here, but 100 and something laps, dominated the final stage of the race, and win his second career race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Wow. Once again, wow. Weird start to 2021, and I mean, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, golly, Hendrick Motorsports gets their 265th win, I think, and something like that, and they're getting close to passing Petty Enterprises for the most wins all time in NASCAR history as a team, or Rick Hendrick as a team owner, so that's pretty cool. This was the first time Jeff Gordon got to call the 24 car, winning at least the Exalta 24 in a points-paying race, so that was cool to see. Me as a Jeff Gordon fan, that was really cool to see the Exalta kind of rainbow-looking 24 car win. You know, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it was really cool to see. But yeah, William Byron with a statement win early in the season. We talked about in our season preview some of these bubble guys that weren't certain on making the playoffs. I had William Byron in there. You know, he took a step back last year compared to 2019, despite the win. And this year so far, they've taken about 5 steps up. I mean, seriously. I mean, they didn't just win. They dominated and won. And that's a good sign for them, I think. So this Rudy Fugle, William Byron thing, it'll be interesting to see how successful they are together. It should be a fun duo if they can continue to compete like this. It'll make races much more fun to see the 24 up front competing for wins. But let's get into the results. As I said, William Byron is your winner, the 24 back in victory lane. High five, Jeff Gordon fans and William Byron fans everywhere. Yeah, I'm wearing my Gordon Hall of Fame hat, if you couldn't tell, and then I got a Byron hat back here too. But yeah, great performance by him. We've talked about it a little bit. I think we'll talk about it a little bit more this week, but man, that's a big win for them. That's a big win for that team. To dominate at 1.5 miles somewhere that Hendrick and Chevy have struggled over the past couple of years in this package, that's a great start to the year for them. Tyler Reddick, as we expected, a top 5 finish. Had a really bad start to the day, was in jeopardy of going a lap down at one point, was in the 20s for a good portion of the race, and then slowly climbed and climbed and climbed. And then in this long green flag run at the end of the race, he picked it up and he freaking just started passing people. Like, not like passing like, oh, hello, goodbye. It was like, I don't know how else to express it. But finally he gets up to the top, or second and third, which was Truex and Larson. And what happened was there was a good little battle there. Reddick went to the outside past Truex, but then Truex was able to clear him again, didn't let him have the top. Truex slipped up on one of the turns. Reddick was able to pass him, and then Reddick was able to pass Larson later on, and he got a runner-up finish. Speaking of historical, or not historic, but, memory wins, the 24 car wins and the 8 car finishes second. Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr., if you are listening to this, which you probably aren't, does that sound familiar? The 24 and 8 running 1-2. Pretty cool if you ask me. But yeah, Reddick was great at the end there. It was so fun to watch him run right on the wall to make all these crazy passes. He's such a fun driver to watch, especially at Homestead-Miami, a track he's had so much success at. But yeah, Reddick had a good day, especially at the end there, but just short of what he would have wanted, which would have been the win. But yeah, good day for him. Third, Martin Truex Jr., the best Gibbs car by far. Led a bunch of laps there. Stage 2, I want to say, a little bit in Stage 3. Top 5 most of the day. Good start to the year for them. Last year, they had an off year. They did not win in a mile and a half, which is extremely rare in recent history. They led 392 out of 400 laps when they were Furniture Row Racing at the 2016 Coca-Cola 600. They won a bunch of mile and a halves in the championship year at Furniture Row in 2017, 2018, and then even coming over to Gibbs in 2019, he won a ton of races, especially at the mile and a halves. So Truex is really good at these mile and a halves. Him and Toyota, they have a really good combination. Something just fits them. But last year was just off for them. They really just weren't themselves. At least the 19 team wasn't. And so I think that's a really good sign for them to come into the first mile and a half in 2021 and to run top 5, to lead some laps, get some stage points. I think that's a really promising sign for that team. Fourth, Kyle Larson. We expected this. Kyle Larson has always been good at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We expected him to be up front. We expected him to be in the top 5. We expected him to lead some laps. So not a surprising performance right here. I'm sure he would have wanted the win, obviously, but I'm sure he's happy that his teammate won as well. Fifth, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick, another guy who's really good at the mile and a halves. Good performance for him. He had a little bit of an up and down day. Fell outside of the top 15. He came back, top 10. I'd say he was a top 10, top 5 car most of the day, but good 5th place finish for him. Michael McDowell's top 10 streak stays alive. All 3 races this year, he has finished in the top 10. So all you people saying that Daytona 500 win was a fluke, Michael McDowell's trying to prove you wrong. He is saying, look, we can run top 10 at all kinds of tracks. They won at a super speedway, top 10 last week at a road course, a 6th place finish today at an intermediate. Man, oh man, could you imagine that first round of the playoffs? If they survive that, if they make it through that first round of the playoffs, you got Talladega, you got the Roval in that second round. If they keep performing like this, they could make a deep playoff run. It's too early to call, obviously, but what if? 7th place, Ryan Newman. As I said, Roush Fenway racing a very strong day overall. Chris Buescher dominated that first portion of the race, won a stage. Ryan Newman was in the top 10 or just outside the top 10 most of the day. Ends up finishing 7th at Homestead. Really, really, really strong performance for them today. I'm really happy for them. That's a good run for them. 8th, Kurt Busch was in the top 5 early. Ran top 10 most of the day, I would say. Good result for them. 9th, Alex Bowman started at the back of the field due to some unapproved adjustments. Came through the field, ran about here most of the day, was up into the top 5 at one point, ends up with a 9th place finish. 10th place, Kyle Busch. Wow, talk about an up and down day. Down into the 20s for a bit. Up back into the top 10, up to like 6th or 7th, back down into wherever he finished, which was 10th. Kyle Busch, you know him. If he's having a bad day, his car is awful. It's done. It's damaged. It's destroyed, whatever his terminology is. Ends up coming back for a top 10 finish like he does. Kyle Busch, ladies and gentlemen. 11th, Denny Hamlin also had to start in the back. Was supposed to be on pole, but ends up starting at the back of the field due to some unapproved adjustments to the car, I believe. He was up front, obviously, as I said earlier, he was up front competing for that stage win, but ended up, I don't remember exactly what happened. I think some pit strategy or something. I think he had a bad pit stop, but he ends up finishing 11th. 12th, Austin Dillon, RCR, really good day, as I said earlier, with Reddick. Dillon was in the top 10 for a good portion of the day, ends up with a 12th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was in the top 5 for a bit today, ends up finishing 13th. That's a good day for them. 14th, Chase Elliott, up and down day, ends up finishing 14th. As I said, led a couple laps early on, was in the top 5 for a bit, but this is about where he ran most of the day from that 10th to 15th range, ends up with a 14th. 15th, Daniel Suarez, another top 20 for Trackhouse Racing. Good for them. Good for them. 16th, Brad Keselowski, really strong at the beginning of the day, led 30 or 40 laps before Buescher passed him, but then they just fell off and, they finished 16th. Raj Chastain has a death wish, ladies and gentlemen. He finished 17th, but he threw a mega block on Matt DiBenedetto. I'm talking like to the apron on the road course, like aggressive block. And I'm surprised he didn't get wrecked for it. Was battling with a couple other guys just sliding up in front of him. He was aggressive. I'm surprised he didn't get crashed. He was driving a little crazy today, but 17th place finish for him. 18th, Chase Briscoe. Awful at the beginning of this race. Was 2 laps down, was running 34th or something. Awful day for him. He rallies back, he gets his laps back and finishes 18th. 19th, Chris Buescher. Man, he was the story of the first half of this race. Based on pure speed, was able to drive up to the front, and he was able to take the lead 57 laps, and win a stage. Ends up falling off at the end, which was unfortunate, but man, that's a great day for that team. 20th, Christopher Bell, last week's winner. 21st, Ryan Preece, his top 10 streak ends. 22nd, Bubba Wallace. 23rd, Cole Custer. He was running top 5 at the end. He must have run out of fuel or something. 24th, Anthony Alfredo. 25th, Joey Logano led the first 20 laps of this race. I want to say 10, 15, 20, somewhere around there. He fell off a cliff. 25th. 26th, Justin Haley. 27th, Eric Jones. 28th, Matt DiBenedetto. 29th, Ryan Blaney was irrelevant all day. Sheesh. Oh, yeah, I forgot. He got in an incident with Eric Almirola, who finished 30th. Almirola tried to clear him. He was not even close to clear, and they both got damaged, but bad days for them. 31st, Garrett Smithley. 32nd, Cody Ware. 33rd, Josh Bilicki. 34th, BJ McLeod. 35th, Quinn Houff. 36th, Corey LaJoie. 37th, James Davison. 38th, Timmy Hill. Now to rate this race. Honestly, this might have been the best race we've had in this package. When the sun was out and the track was slick, guys were sliding around, guys were passing for position, passing for the lead. 2 and 3 wide racing that wasn't just from the restarts. It was easy to pass at times. It was great racing. When the night came on, the night later on came on to the track, and then it kind of cooled the track down. Then it was all right, but we had a really good battle for second place at the end of that race, which was really fun to watch. This was seriously might have been the best race we've seen in this current package. Homestead-Miami Speedway is considered one of the best mile and a halves already, but the first 2 races we've seen in this package with it, they haven't been great. They haven't been memorable, but this race was pretty dang fun if you ask me. I had a great time watching it. Watching Reddick ride the wall, trying to pass Truex and Larson for second. Watching Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski fight for the lead. I mean, it was a fun race if you ask me. 8.7 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this race. I did not expect that. The Xfinity race yesterday was amazing. I was like, man, that usually means a disappointing Cup race, but the Cup race today was great. I really enjoyed it. I really did. Some people might disagree with me. Some people might agree with me. You tell me in the comments, but I had a great time watching this race today. I think I said 8.7. I can't remember what I said 5 seconds ago, but congratulations to William Byron in the 2014, putting 24 in victory lane. Exalted 24, I should say, the Rainbow 24. Man, what if Byron and Fugle end up being like the Gordon Everham 2.0? That may not happen. That's going to be very hard to replicate, but, very strong start to their season, I should say. We'll talk about that more this week. I had a fun time watching this race today. But, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, and all that stuff.